I am not encouraging or advising anyone to modify their firearms. This is not a tutorial. This is for entertainment purposes only. I got the barrel porting done on my Tisas 1911 Carry DS. If you're interested in anything else I've done to this pistol, I will link to a playlist of all my videos featuring it. I will also link to a playlist of all my past barrel porting videos. As usual with my porting videos, I will touch on the design inspiration and considerations, and any machining details or challenges. I will include a muzzle flip angle comparison to quantify the increase in performance and discuss how it feels to shoot after the porting. I will include a quick discussion of the recoil spring changes associated with the porting as well. Timestamps are provided so you can skip around as you please. A quick recap on this pistol thus far. The first video on this pistol I published was kind of a first shots and impressions. I think right out of the box for the price, this is a very solid pistol and a great place to start if you're looking to get into the double stack 1911 market on a budget. I posted a video about the Dawson Precision Magwell I installed and the unfortunate issues I had with mounting an optic to the slide. The next video showed the results of a full tune-up and some budget-oriented upgrades. This video will obviously cover the barrel porting. Looking forward, one more video is coming where I will show the full-size weapon light adapters I designed and 3D printed. I will be publishing the 3D model files so anyone with a 3D printer can make them for themselves. The design inspiration for the ports came from the Bull Armory TAC Pro pistols. I think the longitudinal slots in the slide really complement the design and shape of a simple 1911 slide like this one. I decided on a V6 port instead of a V8 in my experience with these 7/64 inch diameter holes. This was all the cross-sectional area I needed for this barrel length. I designed mine with a narrower 35-degree angle off the vertical to direct more of the gas upward. The Bull Armory looks like a 45-degree angle. I also decreased the hole spacing significantly to keep the overall length shorter so I could push all the ports closer to the muzzle for better mechanical advantage to mitigate muzzle flip. I created a detailed 3D model to help me visualize the design and hammer out the details of the angle, size, and spacing, then derived a nice drawing from that for myself to reference during machining. There was nothing special about the slide milling I haven't already covered in past videos. The barrel was a little tricky as I didn't have a nice square chamber to clamp onto like some of the other pistol barrels I've ported. After a lot of dicking around, I finally got it fixtured, set my angle, zeroed my axes, and milled the first 3 holes, flipped it around in the vise, did all the setup again, and milled the other 3 holes. I cleaned up and deburred the slide and barrel like normal. This slide is 4140 alloy steel, so cold blue worked just fine to refinish the inside of the milled slots. This barrel surface is hard chromed. However, the material I exposed is the same 4140 alloy steel, so cold blue worked just fine there as well. Ammo for the comparison was 124 grain S&B full metal jacket, and I used a 15-pound recoil spring for both tests. I will be tuning the recoil spring after porting, but for the comparison it was important to keep it the same as recoil spring weight affects muzzle flip. Before porting, muzzle flip angle was about 12.9 degrees. Now, after porting with the same ammo and same 15-pound recoil spring. I measured about 9.1 degrees of muzzle flip. With plus minus half a degree uncertainty around my measured values, there was between a 23 and 36% reduction in muzzle flip with the ported barrel. This gun with the ports now shoots as flat as my Beretta 92X or CZ Shadow 2, both of which responded extremely well to barrel porting. Hell, the Shadow 2 weighs about 10 ounces more than this gun, yet the muzzle flip angles are about the same. The performance is really impressive. The 15-pound recoil spring was a bit too heavy. I ended up dropping it down to 13 pounds for better ejection with my lightest range ammo. You'll see in the upcoming shooting footage that I got one stovepipe malfunction. That was with the heavier 15-pound spring, and the ejection was pretty weak, so I have a hunch that was a spring-related issue. I did want to touch on the accuracy of this pistol. In the initial shots video, I showed that I wasn't able to get much better than a 6 to 6.5 inch group at 25 yards from bag support. I think the main issues, other than me being the one shooting it, were the heavy trigger, loose factory barrel bushing, and the coarse iron sights. I improved the trigger and the new barrel bushing is a little bit tighter, so I wanted to check accuracy again. I turned the red dot off and used the iron sights through the window. That way the more precise aiming point of the red dot would not be helping me. I used the same 124 grain S&B ammo as before from 25 yards with bag support. Now the group is about 4 to 4.5 inches. Now here's a group using the red dot just for comparison. Maybe it tightened up a little bit, hard to tell, still right around 4 inches, so I wasn't doing too bad with the iron sights. Apparently this is a 6 MOA dot, so it's about 1.5 inches at 25 yards, so it was completely covering my point of aim. Keep in mind, ports can disrupt the bullet as it passes and change the point of impact and accuracy of a barrel. In my experience, ports of this size and layout may open up the group 1/2 inch to 1 inch at 25 yards. I'm fine with the 4 to 4.5 inch groups out of this gun. If I got a gunsmith fit bushing, I could certainly tighten that up and make the gun mechanically capable of more accuracy than I am as a shooter. This pistol was $750. Initially, I put $200 of parts into it and did a full tune-up, then added $60 with this magwell. I've done all the labor and the porting job myself, so in total, without the optic, I'm into this gun for $1,010. Including the optic, I have $1,340 into it. If you had to pay someone to do these upgrades for you, somewhere around 6 to 8 hours of labor on top of the parts costs and another $200 to $300 for the barrel porting, this setup would be closer to maybe $1,800 to $2,000 without an optic. At that point, I feel like it would just be better to consider a bull armory or staccato, unless all you can afford is $750 up front. Then as funds become available, you could upgrade it from there. I think this pistol is a good starting point for upgrades. It's a solid platform, and I hope my series of videos has shown that. For $1,000, I don't really know how I could make a pistol perform much better than this one does. There are certainly more talented people out there that could do more with it for less. Needless to say, I'm very pleased with how it came out. I would be interested to get this in the hands of a really experienced shooter that is familiar with the 2011 platform and has shot Staccato, Bull Armory, Atlas Infinity, Nighthawk, etc. I'm not saying this gun would perform as good as any of those guns. It absolutely would not. And with those $5,000 plus pistols, you're paying for a proper gunsmith fit, outstanding craftsmanship, top-notch design, machining, and finishing work, and the highest quality components available. But compare this to an Atlas that's $6,000. Does 6 times the money get you 6 times the raw performance on the range? How does this thing generally stack up in terms of 2011 performance for how much money I have into it? I may not ever be able to answer those questions myself, so I may never know. Anyways, that wraps up this video. I hope this was interesting, informative, and entertaining. Thanks so much for watching.